Welcome! So take a look at this. This is one of the most incredible buildings in the entire world, Jaipur's Hawa Mahal. Now, it's obviously a masterpiece of architecture, but what if I told you that behind this absolutely stunning facade is actually a brilliant 18th century air conditioning system? Let's figure out how it works. So that's the big question, right? Is this just an unbelievably beautiful palace, or is it something more? A machine, really, that was designed to conquer the intense Indian heat, centuries before modern AC was even a flicker of an idea. So let's break it all down. And to figure that out, we really have to start with its famous nickname, the Palace of Winds. That's not just some poetic name they came up with. It is a literal description of what this building was engineered to do. See, the key thing to get here is that this isn't just art for art's sake. The Hawa Mahal is a total masterclass in what we now call passive cooling. That's a system that uses natural forces to create comfort, where every single beautiful detail serves a very, very practical purpose. So how does it actually pull it off? Well, the whole effect comes down to just a few simple physics principles, all working together in perfect harmony. Let's dig into them one by one. First step, and probably the most important concept, is cross-ventilation. Now, we're not just talking about a few windows here and there. The palace has hundreds of openings, and these aren't just for looks. They are strategically placed pathways that create this massive network for air to just move freely through the entire building. And it all comes down to some really basic physics. You see, when wind hits the front of the palace, it creates a high-pressure zone, which literally pushes air in. Then, on the other side, the sheltered backside, the pressure is lower, and air always wants to move from high pressure to low pressure. That simple difference creates a constant, reliable draft, just pulling air right through the building. But it's not just about moving air around. It's about how that air feels on your skin. The palace's windows are intentionally small. It's just like when you put your thumb over a garden hose to make the water spray out faster. By forcing air through these narrow gaps, it has to accelerate. This is called the Venturi effect, and it is absolutely key to how it cools you down. And this right here is the crucial point. The goal isn't to actually lower the air temperature like an air conditioner does. Nope, it's to make people feel cooler. That faster-moving air pulls heat away from your skin and helps your sweat evaporate much more quickly. And that is the powerful cooling sensation you get. So simple, but wow, is it effective. Okay, so we've got the breeze part covered. But in a place like Jaipur, just moving hot air around is only half the battle. The other, much bigger half is dealing with the main source of all that heat, the relentless sun. Here's another clever trick it uses, called the stack effect. And this works even when there's no wind. So any sun that does get inside warms up the air. We all know warm air rises, right? Well, the vents on the upper floors let this warm air escape, and as it leaves, it pulls cooler, denser air up from the shaded courtyards down below. The whole palace basically becomes a giant, self-ventilating chimney. And believe it or not, the design is even smarter than that. It's built to stop heat from even building up in the first place. You've got these deep overhangs that shade the windows. The thick stone walls have what's called high thermal mass, which just means they absorb the sun's heat very, very slowly, keeping the inside cool for most of the day. Every single element is designed to minimize the sun's impact. Of course, we have to talk about the most iconic feature of the whole palace, the jollies. I mean, these beautiful perforated screens look like pure decoration, but they are actually these sophisticated multifunctional pieces of, well, climate control technology. I mean, just think about the efficiency here. A single one of these jolly screens does 3 different jobs all at once. First, it blocks the harsh glare of the sun. Second, it allows that all-important airflow we've been talking about. And third, it breaks up strong, hot winds and transforms them into a much more pleasant, gentle breeze. It is an absolute marvel of integrated design. Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces of the puzzle. The pressure differences, the airflow speed, the stack effect, the shade. Now let's put it all together and see how this incredibly elegant system really works. So you see, it's not one single magic trick. It's a formula. It's a recipe where all the parts work together in perfect harmony. You combine hundreds of small windows with deep shade, you add the natural pressure differences from the wind, and you top it all off with that rising warm air. And what's the result? A continuous, refreshing breeze and a genuine feeling of coolness, all done naturally without a single moving part. Now, it's really, really important to get this distinction right. The Hawa Mahal is not an air conditioner. It doesn't magically make hot air cold. What it does, and what it does brilliantly, is create comfort. It uses shade and air movement to make the environment you're in feel drastically more pleasant. So, what can we take away from this incredible 18th century masterpiece? Well, beyond its breathtaking beauty, there's a really powerful lesson in there for all of us today. The real genius here is the integration. It's how all these simple individual ideas, shade, airflow, pressure, are all woven together so seamlessly that they create something far, far greater than the sum of their parts. It's really like a symphony of physics and architecture, all working as one. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? As we're all looking for smarter, more sustainable ways to design our own buildings, maybe some of the best answers aren't in some brand new technology. Maybe they're waiting for us in the timeless wisdom of a palace that was designed to work with nature, not against it.